Hi, everybody. Welcome to Experts Dig In with Doggies for Dementia. I am Carmen DeVelas. I am the founder and president of Doggies for Dementia, which is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. And those are a lot of numbers and words, but what it really means is we are Alzheimer's advocates. We provide beautiful experiences and photographs for families impacted by dementia. And then together with the families, we work to raise awareness because there is just such a stigma and isolation and loneliness for families impacted. And we are working hard to change that. I know the more we know, the better we can do as a small community, as large community, and as the world. And we're working to change that. And I'm super excited today because I have Mike and Kim Barnes here today that have just such an interesting story, and they've got a beautiful mission, and I just know my audience is going to love this today. So welcome, Mike and Kim.
Thank you. We're glad to be with you today.
Yeah, good to be here.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, we started a Facebook group. I look at Kim because it's a long story kind of, but we started a Facebook group a few months ago because my mom is in memory care. She has Alzheimer's. Kim's mom has dementia. It's not nearly as bad, but it's headed in that direction. But especially with my mom, my mom and dad have been married for 61 years, and we moved my mom away from my dad, unfortunately.
So that's a whole creates a whole nother challenge.
But moved her on March the 8th into a memory care place. It's only a mile and a half from where my dad is, and he gets to visit her all the time, but it's still, kind of breaking up their marriage, and it's hard on the entire family. And I realized before Kim did, but realized that a lot of people are going through something similar to this. A lot of times it's Alzheimer's, dementia, maybe it's some other type of medical problem, but so many people our age, if you're in your 40s, 50s, like we are, where you have parents that are in their 70s or 80s that are getting to where they really need extra help. They need more than just a little help here and there. And a lot of times it's the kids, it's us who have to do all the caregiving. Sometimes it's in person. Sometimes, like for Kim's mom lives in Houston. My parents live in the Dallas area. Sometimes it's long distance, but we're both on the phone with our parents all the time, every day, helping them with something, whether it's trying to figure out how to deal with my mom, how to deal with the computer, how to fix something with
get your new arch supports in your shoes
exactly.
Every day.
There's always something. And we realize that there are people out there who either A, they need help trying to figure out how to get this done, or B, they just need the support of knowing that I'm not alone, because it can be a tough deal when you're so frustrated because you're on the phone, you can't figure out how to do it. And it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how do I get through this? And you realize that, well, just with the support of other people, it really, really helps.
And I think that, besides feeling alone, there's times that as I was laughing as Mike's talking about being on the phone, there are times that I'll be sitting in my office, he's in the room right next door, and I can hear both of us having different conversations, whether it's about the new orthotics that we just got for my mom, and I have to remind her to move them into the different shoes. And why don't we just wear the same shoes every day, just so that we don't have to do that. And then Mike's talking to his dad about whatever it is. And I think that besides the fact that in some ways that's the easy stuff, which is, reminding them or helping them manage a few of those things. But there are so many issues that are really complicated when it comes to home care, home health care, Medicare, Medicaid, just all of those things. And even for people who, I feel like I'm fairly educated. I'm pretty good at figuring things out. I was a reporter for a long time, so I'm pretty good at digging and figuring things out. But I feel like if I'm having challenges, I just know that so many others are as well. And we don't have, we're trying to do this on top of managing our own businesses, helping our children, and or just volunteering in the community and doing the things that we're a part of already. And so I think it's, how do we add that on and really make it feel like, sometimes you just have to laugh or you'll cry, right? Because some of the things are really tough and you get frustrated. And, as I'm listening to, both of us talk on the phone, sometimes I just think, we think, oh, surely we're the only people that are doing this in the middle of our workday. And the truth is we're not. So many people. And I think the numbers of people that have joined our group in a short amount of time, I think are proof that so many people are dealing with this every single day. And some even more challenging than what we're facing right this minute. And, some just that are anticipating, okay, I just need to, what do I need to get in order and have some decisions made on the front end to make it easier as we do go down that road.
Yeah. And it's a tough thing. And like you said, and like you guys did, you thought you're the only ones. And even when I was 40 years as a nurse and nurse practitioner, and the last decade and a half was in dementia care and senior care. And so I worked with families a lot. But when I started, I wrote a book and I started talking to families, not as a nurse at all, right? I just said, what do you want the world to know about this journey, or what do you want the world to know, period? And there are a lot of 13 different stories, but a common thread was, well, no one else is going to really understand, or it's really just us, or I'm the only one that feels this way, I'm sure, or I'm failing and I don't want anyone to know, or am I failing? I don't know. Is this what everybody goes through? And just just all those thoughts that are draining, or absolutely draining, on top of so much to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want to know about your Facebook group. So here we are using media, which is your thing anyway, right? And I should have said a little bit about you guys, because you're, kind of celebrities, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So why don't you talk about that first? So let our audience know a little bit about what y'all have done.
Sure. The Facebook group is called Parenting Aging Parents. And again, it's about people our age, in our 40s or 50s
or 60s.
However old, it could be younger, it could be younger, but where you wind up, you're so used to taking care of your children, and now you're doing a lot of the same type of things with your parents, for your parents. And we just started it in April, I guess it was, when we finally kicked it off, so to speak. And it's basically what we're trying to use, because of our experience as journalists and interviewing people. The main thing that we do, as far as what Kim and I do, is we post interviews with experts like you that we post on our page, just to kind of give you a little bit of advice, suggestions, ideas about whatever the topic is, whether it's something about dementia, something about powers of attorney, wills, healthcare, insurance, whatever it may be. And it's not to tell you, okay, this is what you do, but it kind of gives you an idea of, oh, that's something I could do, and who I should talk to try and take care of things.
Well, I feel like what we're doing is helping you know what to Google.
Yeah.
Because I think that sometimes we don't even know the right questions to ask, or what is the information that we're even supposed to be looking for. And so it, you know what I mean? So it's like,
you don't even know what you don't know. Like, I don't even know what to ask. What do I ask even? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I love that. And one of the things that we love to do, both of us, is we love to interview people. And so in all of our years as reporters and anchors, that's what we've done. We've interviewed thousands of people. And so we love being able to get that information. And then personally, one of the things that I love more than anything is connecting people. And so I feel like this allows me the opportunity to be able to help connect people with other people that might have been in the same situation that they have, so they can share some insight. Maybe it is the expert or the resource that they need to be able to manage through this, whatever their situation is. So it really is, I feel like it's designed to provide, interviews with experts, so that you have a little bit of an idea of, oh, there's some topics I hadn't even thought that I needed to know about, resources. And then I think the thing that has been so fun to watch is just the community supporting each other, helping each other, and really helping us feel like we're not alone. And one of my favorite stories so far in our group.
That was going to be my question, Kim. You must have ESP. I'm like, what's your favorite? What's your favorite story?
I know
so
what
far?
it is. It has to do with the wheelchair down at the coast.
Oh my gosh,
this is great.
And we've had lots of great questions about, like, hey, how do you know if your loved one has a UTI, or some medically kind of stuff.
Because when we started it, we were a little bit worried about content, because we hope to do 1 or 2 interviews a week and post on there. But it's like, if that's all there it is, it's going to get kind of old. And we were hopefully the community will come together, and it'll be a lot of, hey, I need help with this. Hey, I need help with that. And then this happened.
Yes.
I'll let you tell the story.
Yes. Yeah. So a friend of mine posted that her mom loves the beach. She's 91 years old. She has Alzheimer's, and she loves the beach. And she just posted in the group, hey, does anybody know I'd like to take her to the beach. Does anybody have any suggestions? Somebody else who's in the group commented, hey, did you know Port Aransas has a special I think it's called a I forget what it's called, but it's a
So basically a
special
wheelchair.
wheelchair that has these big wheels that can go in the sand and even in the water, and you can rent it. Or I think you can just borrow it, but you have to reserve it.
Yeah.
So fast forward a month or two, and the friend posted pictures that they went out to Port Aransas, they took her mom, and they posted these pictures of this glorious, joyful face of her mom in the in the wheelchair on the beach, and just talked about how this was just one of the most amazing memories that she's had with her mom. And it's all because somebody in the group said, hey, did you know that there's this wheelchair available? And so now hopefully other people will know. Again, what do you Google? Well, is there a beach near you that has something similar? And so that just warmed my heart. And there have been other people that have posted some different experiences too, that seeing that made me think, oh, I should take my parents to go outside and listen to the symphony, and because we know they love music. So I think it was one, just to see that really cool, lifetime memory experience for that family. And also it encouraging others that they could do something, on a different scale, but still similar, to give their parents those memories. And even when they don't remember, you have that memory.
Yeah. It's just such a great community, which is what I love.
I don't know about what you guys have noticed, but this is an example of what you just said. What seemingly could be kind of a simple solution or a simple thing become the most significant and not to be trite, but life-changing memories and experiences, because that I think we go through life and go, yeah, well, I can do that next week or maybe next time. But no, it's now. It's now. We do it now. And it means the world. It really does. And I've seen that. And I got goosebumps just thinking about it, because it's that powerful, right? It's really that powerful.
Yeah. And some of them are very practical questions. There was one this week that was, hey, my mom keeps losing her cell phone. Does anybody have some suggestions? And there have been a couple of different ideas as far as, okay, could you try this, or could you try this, or kind of thing. And so those are very practical and can impact, especially the caregiver's life, because if you can figure out a way to help them not lose it, then that's going to make, in some ways it's going to make it easier for them, and it makes it easier for you too. So what are the things that we can do that help us in our journey as we're caring for our parents and trying to help them, so that we don't get frustrated? And, there's been a couple times that I'm like, Mom, you're killing me. you know what I mean? Like you had your COVID vaccine set up. We had it all set up. Everything was good to go. And then she canceled it. And and the funny thing is that I tried to call back to reschedule, and it took me forever to get somebody on the phone. I don't even know how she did it, but she canceled it. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding? It's tomorrow. And, fortunately I was able to reschedule it, but we had to then get a driver to take her because she's out of town for me, and all of but sometimes you're just like, Mom, I'm trying. And she'll say, I'm so appreciative of you and your brother for really helping me. And I'm like, we are so happy to help, but if you can, please don't go back and undo what we do, And then she kind of laughs, but she forgot, so.
Again, until you get into this and you start really taking care of your mom or your dad or both, you don't realize all that it encompasses, because besides looking for a wheelchair or trying to figure out the iPhone and all this, you also have to figure out the power of attorney. Is it a durable power of attorney, a medical power of attorney? You need a medical directive. Do you need a will?
Do they have long-term care insurance? Do they not? What's the difference? What happens if you don't?
Medicare. Do you need the extra Medicare, supplemental insurance? There's so much to do. And if you have no idea, if you haven't had to worry about it yet, if your parents have taken care of it on their own and you haven't had to worry about it and you're not to that age yet, then you're completely lost. Because you know a little bit about taking care of your children when they were young, but it's completely different because there's so many other legal things involved besides just signing the note for the kid. It's okay for them to go home with so and so, or that type of thing. It's just completely different, and just learning about all that. But it's so easy to get so overwhelmed.
Well, it's overwhelming most of us will wait until it's almost crisis time
Yeah,
instead of,
self-delete.
because it's
Exactly.
hard to talk about, and then you're in crisis mode and you got to learn stuff, and that's not the time
Right.
to begin the process, but it is going to be the time for many people, right? And how important it is to have easy access to resources,
Mm.
where to go, or where you can ask. So it almost serves as like your Google. People can say, yeah, look this up and look that up, right? And one head. And what I find is people who've been there, done that, have the biggest hearts to
Mhm.
want to spare someone else that agony.
You
Exactly.
bet.
And
Yes.
is that see,
Oh, definitely.
comes again. Yeah. And I find that for me is like one of the most inspiring, beautiful things when I see someone post like, or even I'm having a really hard day today, and almost as if apologetic and there's something wrong. What's wrong with me? I'm having a hard day.
Mhm.
And then people will just pour in like, yeah, of course you are. And we all experience it and it's okay.
Mhm.
That, that is just, I mean, that I can't even describe what the impact that is for someone who's sitting at home feeling like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
just not enough. I'm not, I'm
Yeah.
not, I'm not enough. I don't know if I can do this, and I'm failing my parents, which
Yeah.
I'm,
There was a day in January when my mom and dad, they were still together in independent living up in the Dallas area, and they called me. My dad had been under the weather a little bit because he had tested positive for COVID, but it wasn't that bad. Well, it got worse and worse and worse, and I'm on the phone with him, and I realized he's so bad, I've got to call 911, so to speak, to get an ambulance to come pick him up to take him to the hospital because he's that bad. But what's my mom going to do? Again, she has Alzheimer's. She can't go with him.
uh,
They don't let people in the hospital as visitors at the time because of
uh,
COVID. But the place where they lived was kind of in lockdown because there were so many people who had gotten COVID that you couldn't get in to visit. She hadn't tested positive, but I was afraid that after
Mhm.
being
Being around him.
24/7 with my dad, she probably was. So I didn't, Kim didn't want me to go up there and like, okay, mom, let me take care of you because then I could get infected, and what's going to happen there? What am I doing with that? Anyway, long story short is that everything turned out okay, but it made me realize that luckily we were in the situation where we had set up power of attorneys to where my sister and I, we have a power of attorney for my dad, we have a power of attorney for my mom, we have medical directives for both of them, we have medical power of attorneys for both of them. So we knew that even though we were in a tough situation at the time,
Mhm.
that we knew we could take care of everything that's going to come our way because we were prepared.
Mhm.
You're not prepared though, if you run into any that type of
Right.
situation like that, again, what do you do?
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But by then it's too late, and that's what we're trying to help people. Somebody just posted this week about how my mom's getting in this type of situation. What do I need to have done? And somebody posted on there, well, you need a power of attorney, you need to have a will, you need to have this, you need to have this. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't have all that yet.
Mhm.
Right.
And not like we're trying to scare people, but be prepared, and it just
Mhm.
makes your life a lot easier,
Mhm.
or at least a little bit more relaxed, that you don't have to worry about that type of thing.
Well, and I think it also just goes to the point of like having those conversations with your parents, because I think that especially our parents' generation, I think they're very private. They take care of things. They don't talk about things out loud as much
True.
as potentially we do with our children.
Mhm.
So I think that it's helping them feel, know that it's okay, that we need to know if you've made some arrangements. Okay, let us know about that.
Mhm.
I also think it's actually been eye-opening for us as parents, though, to know that we need to make sure that we do a better job of communicating some of this with our children as well,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I mean, nobody knows what can happen. And so
Yeah.
it, hopefully it helps people in the group know, one, what do we need to do with our parents, but also what can we do to make things easier on our children as well moving
Oh,
forward. So
yeah, even being in the field and things, this is how it is. Last year I was diagnosed with cancer. Everything's fine, it's all good. But at the time I thought, wow, I've got a week to get my stuff together for my son because it was disorganized. And I thought he's gonna, oh my gosh, I would never want him to walk into this mess and try to figure it out because it's like all straight in my head, but I don't know. So I worked really hard on that, and I thought, why had I not done that before?
Mhm.
Because I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
Nobody
No,
wants to
I
think
know.
about that.
And I think that's the hard part. And,
It
and,
is.
you know,
Yeah.
and with our parents, I think that the biggest challenge is that they're still our parents. So
Mhm.
there's still a level of
Mhm.
respect
Mhm.
and the fact that they're the ones that we generally went to for advice and uh, help.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
it. And so
Support.
it's that role
But
reversal a little
you
bit.
have to be comfortable to talk
That's a
to your
hard
parents
thing.
about anything, because it could come up, whether it's something medical, even if it's gross medical and yucky medical, something financial, something,
Yeah. And
you know,
that's easier with some than others, and
yeah.
different family members.
But
Yeah.
being able to go to my dad and say, okay, are you sure, is everything set with your power of attorney and everything, to where if something happened to you, especially after you had COVID, we had this talk, if something happened to you, is everything set to where we don't have to worry about someone coming in and taking everything from mom? Is everything is set so that my sister and I can pay all the bills and mom doesn't have to worry about anything? Is everything set? Are you sure everything's set?
Mhm.
And it's just a lot more comfortable to be able to say that in a nice, casual way than going, Dad,
Yeah.
I need to talk about money with you.
Yeah.
Well, and they're tough conversations. Yeah.
Well,
It's
the
a tough
intentions
conversation.
are clear.
It's a tough
You
conversation,
want.
yeah, it's a tough
Yeah.
conversation, but you have to be
Yeah.
comfortable about it. And
Yeah.
once you're comfortable about it, it just makes things so much easier, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's tough if your parent isn't interested in, say, moving into a retirement community, and you really think that they would be better served there.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? There's
Yeah.
so many tough conversations because you want to honor them and their wishes, and yet also think about what are the things that we can do to make to improve their quality of life.
Well, we've gone through that a little bit with Kim's mom, because we tried to convince her that she needed to move out of, she was lived alone in a house,
couldn't drive.
So she was completely isolated most of the time. That, okay, you need to move into an independent living place like my parents had already moved into. And she didn't want to. No. Well, she finally, we didn't have to force her. She finally did it herself.
Actually did it on her own without even telling us, which was a whole other story.
Yes.
Not the move, but signing a contract. I was like, oh, okay,
Oh.
well, we'll talk about that before you sign legally binding documents in the future.
Yeah.
But we're so glad.
But see, that's that parent-child role. No matter how old you are, you're still the child, and the parents take care of things.
That was a tough process, and it's been the same thing. It's been the same thing because of the way her things have gone for her, that Kim and her brother have taken over her financial affairs and pay her bills for her and that type of thing. And she doesn't like that. And it's still a case of no, Mom, this is better for you. And getting through that and trying to tackle that challenge, it isn't easy, but it's something that, again, when you know that there are people out there who have gone through the same thing, and you can say, hey, do you have any suggestions for me about how I should handle this? Or, what do you do about this? And how do you do with this? Having that community help, I think, is just so much better for everyone.
Perfect segue into my final question for you guys. If you do, like, what's your vision for your group? Do you have an idea of where this is going to go?
Well, our grand idea, I mean, there's no money involved. It's not like we make a profit or anything. Not like, thankfully for Facebook, there's no money involved there. So that's a good thing. Yes. It's not like we're looking to become millionaires off of it. So don't get the wrong idea when I say this, but I would love it for it to explode and be nationwide. We have a lot of people already from around the nation, but it's mainly in the Austin and Dallas and Houston areas right now for the people that we have, mainly because that's where we're from and that's where we are. But I'd love for it to grow nationwide to where that everyone realizes it's a great community for all that we've talked about, that it can help everyone in so many ways, whether it's advice or tips or just support, anything and everything, just to help. And, I'd love for it someday where people come and want to interview Mike and Kim because, oh my gosh, you have this Facebook group or whatever it is with
20,000 people,
20 million people involved.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be great. And again, not like, oh, well, we're going to start charging $1 a piece or $10 a month. No, we're not looking at that. It's just that the fact that if we can help even more people, it's great that right now We have like 650 people in there. If we have 1,650 people, 16,000 people, 16 million people, the more the merrier, because it's so many people that we can help, because we know what it's like going through all this.
And there are millions and millions of people our age, just in the United States,
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
are
They're going
dealing with
through it.
this, and issues, whether they're worldwide,
Yeah.
people there are challenges like this for people all
Everywhere.
over the world.
Right, right. And the more who know, then they can share it with others who are sitting quietly about it and struggling and don't want to say they're struggling, and they can find out.
Yeah.
Well, I so love it. And if it's anything like what's happened in my life in the last 6 years or so, it evolves into things you couldn't even imagine.
Right. And I think that's part of it too. We
and
just,
yeah,
we have the vision to create this
Yeah.
community, and what it becomes, who knows?
who knows? Yeah, that's why I kind of asked it kind of tongue in cheek, because I'm thinking, because if someone would have said to me 5-6 years ago, this is what you're going to be doing, I'd be like, what? No, I don't know. Because I'm kind of shy. I don't know. I could do a little. Yeah.
It's just a passion project.
Yeah, there you go. And when the intention is so clear, you're there to help and support, and things fall into place, then there's just such beauty about that, and good comes about. That's,
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
out to change the world. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want you to say again the name of the Facebook group, and I will also have it in the comments, of course, and in the description.
Sure.
So tell us how to find this group.
Well, on Facebook, it's called Parenting Aging Parents. And you can also, we actually spent the money and got a website that we put, just a web page, parentingagingparents.com. So you can go to there and kind of read about it and click to go straight to the page. So that way you don't have to search on Facebook and look for other pages that may confuse you, or you may not know if you're on the right page or not. But Parenting Aging Parents is the 3 key words.
Thank you so much for being our guest on Experts Dig In with Doggies for Dementia. I can't thank you enough. Beautiful. I know this is going to really help so many of our listeners, and I love the idea of the resources and saying, here's some more support.
Absolutely.
It's just it's a tough thing. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for having us.
We appreciate it.
We're honored. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Bye-bye.